Samantala, kumuha tayo ng update sa nagaganap na wildfire sa Canada. Here's EBC Canada Bureau Correspondent Thomas Likeness. Thomas?
Well, a sense of deja vu hangs over the northern town of Slave Lake as the provincial government has issued an evacuation alert for the community because those wildfires are continued consuming the region's forests. Now, 8 years ago, the town's 7,000 residents had to leave as a raging inferno destroyed about 1/3 of the community's homes. Residents were told on Thursday now they have to be prepared to leave on just 8 hours' notice. The alert tells them the town is not in imminent danger, but, you know, if things change, residents should be prepared to evacuate on short notice. The government is telling people to fuel up their vehicles, gather up their medications and prescriptions, and bring along some drinking water and food as they get prepared to leave. As well, they should bring identification, passports, insurance policies, and other important documents. And people with pets should make arrangements for their animals. Now, Slave Lake was one of those communities that is hosting people who had to flee their homes last weekend because of wildfires in the community of High Level. That's about 6 hours to the north. The hope had been that those people could start returning home this weekend, but those hopes have been dashed for now, and those people actually face a second evacuation from a second community if things get worse. Meanwhile, most of northern Alberta is covered in a smoky haze from those wildfires that are scorching the region's forests. In the Alberta capital of Edmonton, where I'm located, visibility in some parts of the city has been reduced to just one city block. The air quality rated as poor, and that's creating problems for some people. Alberta Health says people may experience symptoms such as increased coughing, throat irritation, headaches, and shortness of breath. Children, seniors, and those with heart disease or lung disease are especially at risk, and the department is advising people to stay inside if they have breathing difficulties.
Thomas, how many Filipinos were affected in that area?
Well, in the community of Slave Lake, I would say there's about 500 Filipinos living there. I've talked to members of the Filipino community up there. Most of them are just remaining calm. They're ready to leave if they have to. And of course, we're hoping that doesn't have to happen.
All right, this is not the first time that this happened in this region. But my question is, why has the government is waiting for the fire to grow or reach a certain level before they allow the community or the people to evacuate the area?
Well, we don't want them to leave prematurely because that just becomes a lot of expense for individuals to have to leave. What they're saying now is we're watching it. The situation could get worse. So if it does get worse, we're giving you time to prepare rather than just leaving it to the last minute.
Do you have reports from the wildfire investigator? Has this been a man-made or was it a natural cause of the wildfire?
When we talked to provincial officials a week ago, they were telling us most of the forest fires in the province have been caused by human activity. That could be people driving their off-road vehicles over dry ground. Even railway cars going through dry areas can spark a fire. And of course, people just being careless and throwing their cigarette butts out their car windows.
Is there so the government has already established a evacuation area. Has the evacuation area enough resources to cover these people within the region if ever they are evacuated in that area?
Oh, yes, so far they would. And in the case of Slave Lake, if they had to evacuate, I would suspect most of them would come to the city of Edmonton. We're about 3 hours to the south. We've accommodated thousands of people before. You might recall back in 2016, they evacuated 80,000 people from the city of Fort McMurray, many of them ending up here in Edmonton.
Has the president announced regarding this incident? Have they extended additional resources for the affected area?
Oh, yes. They've brought in firefighters from other provinces. The provincial government has given cash to people to help them cover their expenses. So the help is there.
All right, thank you, Thomas. That's our EBC correspondent from Canada, Thomas Lackness, for the report on the wildfire